So hello, my name is Gabriel. This is another video for Springsnow Massage. We're going to be going over our basic Thai massage class. Here we have Hank and Andy, our lovely class peoples. You want to introduce yourselves?
I'm Andy Johnson from With Empathy Massage, and I've been a massage therapist since 2020.
I'm Hank Herrick from Red Blues Chiropractic and also Nurture Vibe Massage Therapy, and I've been a licensed LMT since 2017.
Great. Have either of you done Thai massage before?
I have not.
Just a little bit.
Cool. All right. Yeah. What do you want to learn today?
I want to learn stuff on upper body.
Upper body.
Focus, neck, shoulders.
Okay. Great.
Same as well, I am very uneducated about the neck in relation to Thai massage.
Cool. Who wants to receive first?
Okay.
Cool. So what would you like to be focused on today, just like body-wise?
Neck, scalings, traps.
Okay. Yeah, so for Thai massage, I always like to kind of start superficial to deep. There's a lot of structures that can be involved in posture. I know,
Yeah.
crazy concept. But what I find wise is like to just do some like start with some gentle like arm traction, do some pec work, and then kind of get into the smaller structures of the neck and head. So yeah, if you're giving to Andy Hank, where might you want to start? Kind of mobilizing those structures with Thai massage.
I'm guessing the shoulders would be a good place to start to just kind of work out those broader areas before getting into the deeper crevices of the neck that you were explaining.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. What's your pressure preference, Andy?
Scalings are very sensitive. Pecs, I don't know. Back isn't very sensitive. I do have some shoulder stuff going on my right shoulder, my AC joint. It kind of comes forward a little bit. I get it adjusted pretty regularly, so it's a little unstable.
Cool. Yeah, like so just for clarity's sake, like what kind of like listening cues do you all want to set for the class? Like if you're doing some traction on her shoulder, what kind of plan do you want to have in place for like if it was too much?
I know my muscles will start tightening and they'll say something.
So a guarding response.
Yeah.
And for you listening to that guarding response, like how what's your plan for that?
I would just like for you to feel comfortable to say if it's too much, if we need to back off at any time or do something a little different.
Yeah.
Maybe if the direction or stabilization of it that we're going with it isn't jiving well, or if it feels like too much pressure for any moment, just go oof, melt
Okay.
off.
Oh, that's perfect. I can do that. I like that.
Yeah, and how about you, Hank? What would you like to be focused on in your body?
Um, I I think I'm experiencing some tension that like I'm noticing right now, like right here and kind of like here at the top in my like in my like lower paraspinalis and my upper traps.
Okay. Yeah. There's a number of things to do. Like,
I was thinking, do you want to focus more on like a shoulder or a hip thing with Thai? Because hip Thai is more joint based, right? So we're kind of focusing.
well, it's whatever we want to learn, really, or play with. Well, it's just to be honest. A lot of times, what I find is a limiting factor is joint mobility in doing a lot of the moves that I've learned in Thai massage. So, like, what I would recommend is us just kind of like trying things out and then see how our bodies respond, and based on that response, go deeper or lighter.
I like that idea.
Yeah, like I have a number of ideas of things to try to show both of you, and just based on your body's responses, we can focus on one thing or let go of another, and just kind of tailor a session to whatever works best for your bodies. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Any so like this is about a 2-hour class. Any goals or things you want to set for in 2 hours after we're done?
I don't have anything set in mind.
Just like a nice session.
Yeah.
You know, let the mind kind of relax a bit.
Yeah.
The body and mind chill.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel pretty sure that I will have learned about Thai massage and how it relates to the neck, which I have neglected in learning Thai massage all this time. So
I'm excited to
looking
learn.
forward to that.
Great. Well, we shall begin. All right, so again, welcome. This is the class section. So we'll begin with some kind of touching, get the body kind of comfortable with our touch. I usually start with the feet. Do you want to bolster underneath your knees or anything?
No, I'm okay.
Cool. Yeah, so I generally kind of start with the knees, do some jostling. Generally, I'm kind of looking at the body and like how the kind of jostling moves through it. And identifying kind of where is moving and where isn't moving. Since both of you kind of mentioned you wanted a more upper body focus, we might not spend too much time on the lower body. And just kind of do the good stuffs. So I'll just kind of show you like a paraphrase of a flow, and then you can kind of mirror and just do the opposite. So I noticed her right hip was moving a little bit less than the right. So we'll start with what is called the rowboat. So you kind of help the knee up, bring your foot to the outside, let it kind of drop off. You can kind of, with your other hand, kind of grab the ankle, bring it to your hip for kind of counter power. And then you kind of meet the hamstring and kind of push in and then roll up.
That feels good.
Nice. Yeah, how's that pressure feeling?
Really good.
Cool. And you kind of start just kind of, 3 or so inches to the outside of the groin and kind of just move towards the knee, stopping probably 4 or 5 inches from the knee. And there's like generally like 3 or 5 lines that I do, depending on how much time you have. Since we're just going to be doing like an hour or so each on both of you, I'll probably lean towards the 3. Cool, so let's have you try that. At your leisure.
Okay. So I'll go for that on the opposite side.
Indeed, yeah.
Okay. See if I mirror this correctly.
Yeah, so kind of sit your butt here, but on that side. So bring your both your feet forward, and then with your inside foot, your inside. So it'll be this one.
Oh.
Yep, and then let's bring the knee up at a 90 degree, and with your outside foot, kind of brace it. Yeah, that works. You want to kind of keep the leg at a 90-degree angle. And then you kind of push this knee down to put pressure into the hamstring. And you want to be mindful of the articulating surfaces of your foot. So kind of this outside edge is usually pretty good. The inside super strong. This can be super dexterous. And Andy, how's that feeling? Do you want more or less pressure?
More pressure if you'd like.
Well, like 15% more?
Yes.
And how's that pace feeling?
Good. Maybe a little fast. Maybe a little slower.
So
Okay.
a little slower.
That's okay. You're doing great.
Yeah, if you can, kind of keep the leg kind of on this plane.
Keep it on which plane now?
So like right now the leg is at about a 35, 50 degree angle towards you. You want to keep it like at a 90 degree angle. So
Right here?
Nope. So it's here. So
Okay.
basically keep the femur on this plane, and then move your foot down. Instead of moving the leg, move your leg.
Okay.
So maybe like so I'll just keep this hand here,
Uh-huh.
and now just move your leg to move the hamstring. That gives you kind of a better articulating surface instead of like at this angle. It's like a flat surface.
Is that beginning to feel more identical to as it did on your other side?
I think your bottom foot is, there's something, I don't know.
Yeah, so for the outside foot, maybe bring
That
it
is
closer to her knee.
Oh, okay.
And like just keep it, like keep the feet, keep the kneecap at this plane.
There's a lot of moving pieces going on.
There are many pieces, yeah. Yeah, maybe try it on this side just to keep the muscle memory going, and replace. Be nice and gentle with the placement of the leg back. And so I would put your butt down first before you touch the leg at all. So have your butt be here, feet this way. So you're kind of sitting alongside the ankle, yep.
Okay.
And then with your hands, bring your right arm underneath the knee and lift up. And then kind of help yep, perfect. And I would again kind of bring the leg kind of more at that 90-degree angle. And let the leg kind of fully wrap, like let the weight of the leg go down as long as it's comfortable on the receiver's hip. And maybe like have your speed as well. It's like slow down. Yeah, let's just play with just like sinking into the hamstring, maybe hold for a few moments. And then maybe so keep your leg static. So keep that leg extended, and then use your arms to kind of pull the leg towards you into your foot. Does that feel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's kind of the difference of Thai massage. Is like you can like kind of use both your feet and your arms for like optimal strength.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. I guess we'll move on to the arms. So for this one, I always start super gentle, because for some people, kind of their shoulder joints are really, it's wise to be gentle. So the hand hold I like is kind of as such. You kind of grab the wrist. Grab the palm. It's nice and secure. And is that a stretch?
Yes.
Where do you feel that stretch?
A little bit in my hand where you're holding, a little bit in the brachial plexus area.
Yeah, it's your arm. For the purposes of this class.
I was like, I should touch it. But it feels real. Oh, you feel my wrist pop? That was really nice.
That's good. And so how many ounces of force would you say that I'm kind of pulsing towards me?
Like out of 100%?
If it's intensity, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'd say you're pulling at like, I don't know how to do that. So it's like 25%, but it's like enough.
Yeah.
Like I don't need it.
It's not very much strength on my end, and
No.
you feel a lot on your end.
A lot on my end, yeah.
Then I like to kind of change the stretchy sensation just above the elbow.
That's nice.
Feel how that kind of changes the places of stretch.
Yeah, now I feel it like right here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's really nice.
Nice.
A little bit through here.
And then lastly, so I'm kind of like grabbing the inside of your elbow and then grabbing below the wrist to kind of get that traction.
You're still pulling towards you.
Yep, and that's the elbow hand is the main actor. The top hand is just to brace.
But it's still squeezing, which feels good.
Mm-hmm. And then for a more advanced, you can use your feetsies, so you can kind of lift the arm up, and then with kind of the inside of your foot on the big toe side, kind of feel where the bones are, and find a soft part, and then just keep your toe nice and static, and do the same thing. Too much?
No, just be really slow. I'm really guarded in my shoulder.
Okay.
You do a little bit more. Just slow.
Like 10%?
Yeah. It's like this wave motion.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's basically I'm just emulating like an ocean wave, like rocking that tempo. And after a few repetitions, you kind of replace your toe, move a few inches down. Do the same thing. You want to hop on the other side and get ready to repeat it?
That feels good.
Nice.
So this angle here to start with?
So you might have her scoot towards me a little bit.
Okay.
So Andy, would you mind scooting towards me a bit? So he's able to do the full extension.
Sorry.
Oh, no, you're totally good. With your your right arm. Yep, that's correct. Yep, I got it. And then I might scoot back a little bit. The idea is you can you have relatively straight arms, and then with your torso instead of your arm strength, gently kind of do the traction.
Okay.
The idea is to basically be as lazy as possible with your effort.
You can squeeze a little bit more. Lean right there. Oop, a little further. Right there. Yeah.
So
go back and forth, right?
Yeah, just like a gentle pulse. It's really important to find where the edge is, and then mark that in kind of your brain, and then always stay below that point. And so the pulse is basically meeting that edge and then backing off from it, meeting that edge, backing off from it.
You can go a little further. Right there's the edge. And go a little further. There's the edge.
And so this is meant to kind of just generally open up all the structures of the shoulder. You're not going for anything specific.
I like how you're twisting.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice.
And whenever you're ready, the next step is to kind of do the same traction, but just above the elbow.
Okay. Right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
So I would more place your hand so that you're grabbing the fascia all around the elbow, and again, kind of using your torso, so your arms are a little bit bent. You might want to have them be more straight and get the strength from your torso to lean back. And that twisting is great. That actually is quite nice to every pulse maybe rotate a few degrees of rotation, because that will target different musculature and fascial structures.
Will you do the hand placement on my elbow? Because I feel like his hands are placed quite right.
Yeah. So I just kind of have kind of this part guiding the crux of the elbow, and then with the other hand kind of. Basically, I have my thumbs meet, and then I have my palm articulate as much as possible with the elbow, and then pull. So it's kind of like this.
You can squeeze a little more. There. So you're creating kind of a cut. And then squeeze. Squeeze with your hands. That's pulling. Squeeze with your hands.
Yeah, the squeezing kind of gets the friction going, which then allows the traction. You do need to squeeze.
Okay. Thank you.
That's cool.
And do you feel how that, at the elbow, there's a little bit of a different line of where the edge is versus the wrist?
Mm-hmm.
So you always want to know where the edge is.
Right there, a little too far.
And for some people, this is not appropriate because like their shoulders are like just. Yeah, you got to be careful. Basically, some people this might not be appropriate, and honestly, that's like the case with a lot of different moves in Thai massage. You're gonna have to tailor the Thai to each individual body, and just find things that do work and do feel good. Like if anything hurts, don't do it. And it is kind of the responsibility of the receiver to like say, nope, we're not doing this anymore. And yeah, ideally the giver is like doing things that are not, like no fast movements. You're not trying to surprise anybody. You're trying to be nice and gradual and relaxing.
Something's on point right there. Felt really good.
Oh, that brachioradialis.
Yeah.
And if you'd like, I can show like a sideline position where you can like put a knee in there. Like there's.
I do that. I put my knee into my forearms regularly.
Nice.
I just showed a client.
This was the last one you showed
Correct.
me.
Yeah.
I think you need my elbow to be a little bit more.
Yeah.
So the same level as my
So
shoulder.
grab so the wrist is gonna this is gonna be like grabbing below the wrist. You don't want to squeeze this too much. And then you're grabbing right at the base of the elbow. And then you're kind of creating like a lever. So you're holding this top hand statically, and then all the action is just with the lower hand.
Okay.
Pulling towards you. And your target is just like feeling where it needs to be stretched in the shoulder. So like letting that kind of be the guide.
Yeah, just not with your hands, just not with your hands. Hands are good. Here, but like you want to kind of lift it up just a tad. You're going up just that's better. That's cool. Yeah, that feels right.
Yeah, and then do play with like the angle of the arm as it. Yeah, slow movements.
Yeah, you're not. It's like a centimeter movement almost. It's so small.
Are we coming right up to that edge, not too far?
Yeah, you're lifting my elbow a little too high. I feel like. Yeah, right there.
Cool. And let's move on to the next bit.
That feels good. It gives a nice like pull right through here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's not meant to be like a super focusy technique. Let's see. Let's do some sitting stuff. So this is, I don't know, this flow is kind of getting a little wonky, but let's go do some sitting. So you want to lay back down and I'll help you up.
Okay.
So you want to help the receiver up and then go cross-legged. Boom. Yeah, so she mentioned that she wanted, actually, do you mind? Sorry, Andy,
That's
do you
okay.
mind turning around so we're just facing the camera?
Of course.
Yeah, so since she mentioned she wanted kind of more neck focus. So yeah, you want to kind of have your feet be kind of open and splayed, which kind of meet at the base of her spine. You want to have your knees kind of be in between her spine and her shoulders, so that she's nice and supported. And then with open palms, you can kind of get a good grip on the shoulders. Thumbs can be kind of in the front of the shoulders a little bit, but then kind of oscillate your weight from one side.
Much.
Sorry. One side to the other. Is that better?
Yes.
Yeah, if somebody's shoulder is a little bit more sensitive, you can kind of get a bit more sensitivity by kind of coming onto one knee, still with that brace, and then kind of use just less strength, I guess. So is this stuff kind of on the more sensitive side then?
The
or-
one on the right is, yeah.
Okay. Like it's kind of more inflamed?
It might be a little bit more inflamed. It's just a little bit more tender. Right here in this area.
Okay. Yeah, like if somebody's got an injury, like I don't know, avoid it. Like, yeah, a lot of times working on an injured spot can make it worse. Less can be more. be really gentle and just kind of try to get a gauge for how that's feeling. Is even that touch right there okay?
No, we can go deeper. That's feeling really good.
Cool. Yeah, and there's just this ineffable process wherein the nervous system eventually kind of chills a little bit, and these kinds of things, if there's basically safety involved, things tend to be less reactive. Yeah, so if you try to reproduce that, just to be very mindful with the right shoulder to be nice and gentle.
Okay. So I go toes pointing out.
I'd probably recommend it against. So I strike
Oh,
that. So that would be an
don't go with that first
yeah,
part.
that would be an example of like I tried a thing, and for her body that's not going to work right now, because that gives too much strength to you. Like you're like for a lot of people, they want a lot of pressure on their shoulders, and you have like your full body weight and gravity to do that in that position. But because her right shoulder is kind of a little bit inflamed and injured right now, strength is not appropriate for that spot. So
it
more
almost
control.
looked like a cross fiber friction that moved a ½ centimeter with each.
Yeah, that's
stroke.
precisely what I was doing. So I was, yeah, I mean that's precisely it. Like I might move this thumb up a little bit, like more in line with the neck, and then yeah, that's precisely what I was doing, which is really gently just doing little circles to just mobilize the fascia.
Right now, is this rhythm and pressure okay?
Maybe, or I mean, I don't find like asking like is things okay to be very useful for feedback.
All right.
Like Andy, would you mind describing in a few words like the quality of sensation with what Hank is doing?
It gives a nice pressure to the back of my shoulder, and it's pulling my shoulder back, and it feels really good.
Good.
It's not quite the same that you're doing, but it is beneficial. That's a lot of pressure, but it's good.
And Hank, if you don't, or just to in the spirit of Thai massage, maybe bring this knee here, because you want to be like supporting the receiver so that they can relax a bit better. Because then, like when she moves this way, like your
backrest there.
And maybe bring your foot kind of more. So you want your knee to be above your foot, just so that so you're more stable too.
That's bone. Go up a little bit.
And I would just do like circles, kind of from. Yeah, I would just do like 3 to 5 like circle rotations from the acromion to the base of the neck.
Okay.
And then kind of move on. It's not meant to for a lot of Thai massage. It's a bit more. It can be a bit more brisk. Like it's not. You're not like hanging out too much.
Okay.
You're just trying to mobilize and then move on to the next super efficient technique. And you want to be articulating with her back. And Hank, how is that to exert from your core? Like, where are you getting your strength from at the moment?
I am looking for it. With this posture, it's a little bit of getting used to.
Indeed.
You don't have to go push as much as you are, and your movements can be a little smaller.
Okay.
Try that. A little smaller movements, and do one hand and then do the other hand. So do the back and then do the front. And do the back and do the front. Front and then the back hand. Yeah. You don't have to push so hard. You can do it a little too.
Just a few more repetitions and let's move on. How does some side body opening sound, Andy?
Sounds great.
Cool. So we'll kind of stretch out like that spot.
Mm.
So this one is nice in that it's pretty lazy. So if you don't mind bringing your hands behind your head, I'm gonna put my thigh there, and then I'm gonna kind of like basically put you
Can I lean
over.
back?
Nope, you're gonna lean to your side. So kind of come as so, and let's again see where the edge is and if there's any discomfort as you kind of intentionally relax your muscles. Ideally, this is a totally passive stretch. So how's that feeling at the moment?
Good.
Does it sound like a good idea to kind of help you move further to the side?
Yes. And maybe pull my elbow back.
And how much more would you like?
That's good.
And for this one, your like breathing can be a great addition to the stretch. So you can kind of control how much further you want to go with how deep you're breathing and the rate.
Can you move my elbow back a little bit?
Like so.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good. I just need to place it to him.
Okay.
And go back.
Kind of patience is the name of the game with this one. As long as the receiver's comfortable.
Yeah, you can do it.
Because yeah, as you breathe and relax more, just kind of it opens up more.
Yeah, it's opening up my back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of muscles kind of in here that are attached to the scapula.
I'm getting some tingles in my body.
Okay, then if you get any tinglies, it's time to reset. And kind of come back. And let's do the other side once the tinglies are gone.
Yeah.
Why would it put tingles?
What's that?
Is it cutting off blood flow? Is that why you're getting
I
tingles?
think that posture shortens the scalenes. And I think that the scalenes are already kind of bunched up in there.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
We don't need to know why.
I was
Just
just
if there
curious.
is tinglies, don't do it. If it hurts, don't do it. That's
Yeah.
like a axiom to abide by. I mean, and it's not within my scope of practice to be able to say such things.
So I bring my left
So
knee.
let's do
Oh,
how you
yeah.
do the other side, just to balance things out.
Okay, so
So you bring
right knee over, left knee behind.
Yep, and you want to have the knee be as close to her waist as possible.
Uh-huh.
And so let's see. I think bring your knee, or your other knee up.
Up.
Wait, sorry. My. No, sorry, you were totally right.
Okay.
My apologies.
And then
So yeah, as close to the waist as possible, and then I would just like have her do most of the work of folding her torso over your
Can you
thigh.
relax this one?
oh yeah.
So it's just let her do all of it, and then let her let you know how much more stretch to do. So Andy, how much more stretch, if any, would you like?
Good right now.
Okay. And like Hank, what kind of breathing prompt would you use right now to kind of help her focus on her breath?
This is nice.
Just like breathe good, please.
Yeah, let out a nice deep sigh. Listen to your breath And you don't have to make it any special way. If it feels good to deep breathe, breathe deeper.
Any tinglies, Andy?
No.
Would you like to go deeper into the stretch?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I've been getting too nice.
Yeah, so I guess just
Is
from
that
the
normal?
it's not abnormal,
Okay.
but just generally, if you're feeling tinglies, I would go less intense. I mean, I guess just for those of you that want to look it up, feel free to look up things like thoracic outlet syndrome and like things like that. That it's just it could be a bajillion things. It's not within my scuba practice to be able
Yeah.
to say X, Y, or Z. But just if it hurts, don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's a reason that your fingers are getting tingly in that position, and that's why I think it's really important to kind of meet any resistance and stay below that point, so that you're not like going past anything that is going to hurt you, and really listen to that kind of signaling information. Go ahead.
What about people who can't sit cross-legged?
Then you wouldn't do this.
Is there no modification?
Not that I'm going to teach in this class. Like again, honestly, I do a lot of Thai massage with people just face up with like a lot of bolstering, just
okay.
for comfort.
That makes sense.
Because a lot of people's low backs are not very limber,
Yeah.
and so I focus on that, and that is what we work on. Cool. Yeah. So let's see. Let's maybe move into just your scaling work as you want to do it. So maybe help Andy, or if you don't mind turning back around, and if you don't mind helping her back down to the ground,
Okay.
just so
Bracing.
yeah. I mean, honestly, it's whatever. You as a Thai practitioner, like you're making things up as you go. So whatever like feels good to. Like you could grab her hands and help her back down. You could do what you just did. Like there's lots of different things. Yeah. So sorry to make you move again, Andy. But would you? Oh, actually, never mind. Stay where you are. So one way to move somebody down is to let them know you're gonna do it. So Andy, I'm gonna just kind of pull you down a little bit. Like so.
That was nice.
Yeah. And then you can kind of sit at her. I presume you're going to be doing some head work.
Yeah.
Actually, I could sit down
Yeah, so-
like this.
Oh yeah, and if you want to move her down further, then that was a method you could use to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in camera. Good.
Did you have an application you wanted to show me, or do you want me to wing it?
Yeah, I want you to do what you want to do. Yeah, one downside of Thai massage is it's one of its not strengths is like clinical neck work. It's not ideal for that in my experience. And feel free to take the bolster out if that is helpful to you.
Yeah, I guess I don't really need it right now. Your scalings are pretty easy to get to.
Thanks.
Is this pressure okay right now? That's not hurting.
No, I think that helps just a little bit.
How does this feel right now?
Good. It doesn't have any referrals. Oh, that's another shot. Still no referrals. That was nice.
We didn't really do too much pec work, which
No.
can be very helpful for scaling openings. Just if you want to try that.
Sure.
how is that on your body to exert?
I might try this side. This might be a little easier.
You can also kind of get up onto your knees a little bit and use that. I mean, you got to be more careful with your control, of course. But doing something like that and using a fist into, let's get your nice shortened position. So kind of having your other fist on the ground for control, and your knees in a kind of extended. So I might have you go kind of lateral. And kind of there's the clavicle there, just kind of meeting where the actual muscle is, and then exerting. How's that feeling, Andy? Cool. So if it's on the edge, then less. Yeah, so you're pretty close to the clavicle
Really
there.
close to my clavicle.
Oh.
So bone on bone is generally not gonna feel great. And for some people, like for some people with like larger like amounts of surface area, like it can be nicer to have a broader, like use your palm basically, but it's not always going to be possible for different kind of body proportion ratios. Because knuckles are pretty, they can be pretty intense.
I sometimes do this to people's necks.
Yep, that's hardcore. I like this surface.
I
I
do
can get
that
it in
surface
there.
a lot too.
And again, I'd like use this surface before. But
I've not been able to do that.
I've only been able to do it to larger gentlemen so far.
That makes sense. I have some larger gentlemen.
But it's really easy. Like it's just my body weight and control, of course.
If I want to target the SCM and I'm not using any oils, what do you think is a good method from here?
So again, like the strength of Thai massage is not generally clinical neck work. But if I was gonna do that, I would, like in that position, I would probably grab the right mastoid process in that position, and then grab the fascia at the origin point, and then stretch the two. That's what I would probably do for the SCM. Because most people have like at the anterior scalene SCM junction some pretty tight tissue. So I find it wise to again start from like closest to the skin, and depending on reaction, then go deeper. So yes, so go to the SCM attachment insertion and origin, and stretch them gently.
Okay.
So you want to where are your fingers at? Are they on the right or left side underneath on our cranium?
I've got my fingers on the
left side. Cool, great. Yeah. So if you're like I generally, well, I mean, it just depends on the receiver's like comfortability. So I tend to be very careful with exerting any amount of like downward pressure on the anterior neck. I like to kind of keep it below the clavicle. So the SCM origin is about in here. So I would just start there, and then kind of have the receiver. When you're stretching those 2 points, just breathe in deeply, and then depending on how that affects their sensation, then use that as a gauge to progress deeper or not. So you're more like actively trying to identify where the tension is?
Yeah. Trying to see if we can find where it's catching whatever trying to turn the head.
And it was her right side that had the scaling hurtiness as well. Not to say that the left side is not involved. How's that articulation feeling, Andy?
Good.
But like, there's having like the broadest amount of surface area articulation. I think usually feels best.
Okay.
Looks like you're kind of more on like one side versus the other, but I can't feel it.
Okay. Does this look aesthetically better?
Well, it's not about aesthetics. It's more about like the surface area, or like exerting
It all
force.
feels really good.
Oh, well, that's the important part.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel more of the hand be able to connect. Does feel a little bit more broad. Does feel like more secure.
Are you going for the SEM stretch again?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if I might recommend you kind of stretch inferiorly this spot, as well as pull towards up on that mastoid process, and then have her take some slow, deep breaths in. With her head rotated to the left, and then just have her observe what she feels with some deep inhales. So A, is that comfortable as it is, Andy? And B, when you do inhale, do you notice any stretches on your inhale? A little bit? Okay. You're getting kind of floaty too?
Floaty?
Relaxed.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Yeah, it is a detail with classes is not getting the receiver too relaxed, because you gotta have that turnaround.
Yeah.
I've tried many different methods.
Is this okay? This pressure on the scalenes?
Yeah.
Seems like they were more tender on the other side than they were on this side right now.
Yeah, it's like blood pressure. Well, that's what.
Can you feel the scalene stretching with your inhale?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, scalene's attached to the first and second rib. When you inhale, they totally change tonicity.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, just now it started to feel a lot softer.
And, how's your back doing with that kind of exertion?
I feel my elbow on my left side kind of catching my tension of my lats. Yeah, I feel like if I was to do this for a very long time, I'd have tired lats on my left side.
Yeah. That's kind of why I say that Thai massage is not strong in clinical neck work. Because you have to be like kind of hunched over for that, you know, fine work.
Yeah.
Maybe want to, at your leisure, kind of close out with some footwork. You warm enough? And I do specifically not teach traditional Thai. Like a lot of traditional Thai does work with like kind of meridian lines, and it's really brutal.
Yeah.
And I prefer a more listening approach.
Does this feel pretty gentle, or does it?
I like it. It's nice.
Hardest part about doing these kind of like more rhythmic movements is making it identical on both sides.
Why do you have to have it be
'Cause,
identical?
I don't know. I guess it doesn't have to be perfectly symmetrical in all of the motions, but I try for it if I can.
Okay. Yeah, I've let go of perfection a long time ago.
Yeah.
Just stresses me out, man. Yeah, I guess it can be a semi-nice closing. We can just kind of. Does that feel okay in your low back? Give somebody. Is it okay in your hips? So you can kind of put your feet there and translate your weight through the hips, moving to the right and to the left. How's that feel?
Really good.
Cool. Kind of stretch out the sacrum a little bit. So I'm just kind of using my knee as a lever. So like I'm lifting her knees up and then pushing her hips when they're not touching the ground.
That's so cool.
You want to try that? So probably stand up first. And then you can put your elbows kind of on your knees and then lift her legs up. You kind of brace in this position. And then kind of, you can do that jostle. Yeah, play with the jostle. Try to get like a wave moving through the body. Yeah, and then again, check in to make sure it's comfortable on her low back.
Mm-hmm.
But gonna bring it up to a 90-degree angle, or wherever her feet are gonna come into your hips.
Okay.
So kind of like, and then you're kind of translating your weight into her feet, so like it kind of pushes via the ilium on the sacrum, and then going from one side to the other, very gently.
Still holding at the heels.
No, the weight translates from your hands into your hips.
Okay.
Here. Kind of like so. And I guess, yeah, so like her calves are on my knees, like that. Like they are kind of supported without the hands, but I put my hands on the knees. And then I put, I don't know, 10, 20 pounds on her feet. And then start rotating from the right to left. Looking at your knees. So let's start with just kind of that position. So bring this here. Yep. And then presuming it's comfortable, I'll kind of give a bit, like, I don't know, 10% of your weight into her legs. How's that feel, Andy? And then you can kind of oscillate, putting some more weight into the right and then to the left. And then through the pelvis, that kind of just moves things around nicely. But this does require like knees to be, healthy-ish. When you're done with
Does everything feel pretty secure for you, Andy?
when you're done with that, so bring this knee or this foot here. And you want this to be as close to her, next to her, inside of her thighs, And even like, so I would even bring your butt closer this way. So you want this side to articulate as well. And then you want to push down with this side. And then this hand is going to more touch her hip on the other side. So not the other side. And then when you push down, then you can kind of push her hip. So you need to push that more. But okay on the, yeah, and then you can kind of like oscillate kind of with that. Pulling down, pushing, and then relaxing. And kind of doing back and forth. I think, does that feel pretty nice and decompressive on your low back? Cool. Yeah. And then you can stand back up and bring the legs nice and gently back to the ground, and maybe a pretty nice close. All right. Hoppa! Cool.
That's surprising how easy that can be, how little force it takes to just anchor that down and bring the whole lower torso up off the ground.
Yeah, that's why I like Thai massage. If you're doing it right, you're being super lazy, and it feels awesome. Cool. Y'all want a break before we segue?
Yes, please.
Cool. Glad I checked. That all wasn't recording. Oh,
Oh, it wasn't rolling?
it was. It reverted to the camera.
Oh.
That's why I checked it. It's not the first time I've messed up a video. Nor the last. And so I might start with his knee or his foot closer to his knee, and then maybe bring, cause like, it looks like the leg is a little, you're kind of like off to the side. Yeah, a little bit. I don't know, just play with bringing it towards you and get feedback from him as to how it feels. with straight arms, and then kind of lean back with your torso. What's that feeling like?
That's starting to get that stretch. Earlier when you did it, yeah, I think you pulled back just a little bit further.
On this
On
side?
yeah, I feel like this actually came elevated a little bit. Yeah, just that kind of feels more similar to the other side. But nothing's gonna feel quite alike.
We just had different proportions. So one thing I've done in the past to get more strength is to kind of like wrap my elbow around the knee and then use my torso to do the same thing.
I don't think that's gonna work.
Yeah, that feels pretty good too. Yeah, does it feel like you have more leverage? How does it feel on your body?
A little bit more leverage. It hurts my shoulder more.
Oh,
Yeah, if it hurts, don't do it.
It just pulls on my shoulder more. I mean, it's not something I can hold for a long time.
Let's see. Yeah, do we turn the heat down?
A little bit. Are you okay? Are you
I'm feeling pretty comfortable.
Cool. Gonna move to the arm sequence.
Yes, please.
Cool. So starting with the wrist hold. So I'm grabbing, it's basically the thumbs touch. Thumb on thumb. And how's that feel on your shoulder?
That feels comfortable.
Nice. Might do slower pulses, or just try that and see the difference in sensation. And the thumb, perfect. And just kind of like getting the skin tension and then pulling them towards you. Looks like you're using a lot of forearm strength. You want to try straight arms and then use your torso to exert the force. Does that feel any different? And then to be kind to your shoulder, then let's just like skip to the foot assisted stretchiness. So kind of lifting the arm up to get that toe in there. So actually opposite. And just kind of, if you keep, like, I don't know how comfortable it is to palpate with your toes, but you can totally do it. Palpate for the teres muscle group.
Oh, sorry, right down.
A little bit. And then ideally you can kind of pin that muscle group with your toes and then use that to traction with your hip.
With a straight arm.
Yeah, generally I find it like this direction is best. Like that, that's like at a what, like 50-degree angle. So like
What are you doing?
so come up to like a 90-degree or so, because that's gonna just change the fiber direction of the. So probably have to readjust your body.
There it is. You're just right on the teres immediately.
Yeah. So what are you
I really
feeling?
like the teres muscles.
Yeah, they're great. What are you feeling?
feel like I don't even have to pull or shoulder this.
Yeah. Be lazy. It feels great.
Yeah, I can definitely feel like that teres muscle is cradled and being palpated, and I can feel like any amount of movement with the hand, any pull or jostle, it feels like it just plucks the strings of the teres very easily.
Yeah, and the foot thing is kind of nice too, because you can do jostles. You could even, I mean, depending on comfort, you can also get into the obliques a bit too with your feet. Is that feeling okay?
Yeah. Earlier, I was having a hard time getting my quadratus lumborum to lengthen.
How's your form doing, Andy?
Good.
So one thing I try to be mindful of is not to try to do too many things at once.
Yeah, I'm just messing around.
Oh no, it's fun. Bicep. You want to try some pec work?
That felt good, having my arm pushed in and out after I was doing hangs from rings yesterday. And so it was just that constant pull. It felt good having that like pushed in and out a little bit. That was awesome.
Do you want to do his other arm so we can compare?
Sure. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I feel like you're pulling a lot harder than you.
How hard does it feel like I'm pulling right now?
It doesn't feel harder. It just feels like also there's more force from leverage just because you're a real tall dude. I think that can be felt.
Yeah, like my hand is like braced on my quad, and that kind of I'm kind of using my body as like a pretty sunset. Want to take the sunset?
It's so beautiful.
I want to so bad.
It's worth it.
Do it.
Sunsets. It's gonna get purple here in a second.
Should we take a picture on one of our phones?
No.
I'm more of a painter kind of guy myself.
Oh, nice.
Or just, if I don't like to photograph, I like to paint images like this. If I actually want to do that.
Yeah, I haven't painted in a long time, but I love painting clouds. I like doing paintings of like spiraling, colorful space cloud looking paintings, but I haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, so I guess that was a detail I didn't even think about, was me using my own body as like a leverage. Yeah. Do you want to try that? So just like kind of emulating what I just did.
I'm confused.
So.
How are you? Because I know your legs bent.
Well, look at where my leg is and look where my arm is.
Okay, I'm just a little shorter than you.
So. Yeah. So your left arm, do that, and then with your other arm, and then yeah, that's a nice strong grip. Yeah, and that, like, does that make sense at all?
I feel like I wasn't doing this. My knee's just bent now.
Oh, okay. Well,
that's okay. It feels a lot better this way though than what I was doing.
Yeah.
Now I can just like lean back and I feel more supported in my body.
Awesome. And you're using less like muscle strength.
Yeah, and now I can like go down here and do this.
Perfect. Yeah. I mean,
and it feels better too.
Sorry, I didn't even realize I was doing an energy saving thing.
Yeah, your teres, huh?
Yeah. That gets real tired sometimes.
And you can't use both feet on the teres as well.
I can feel my serratus anterior start to relax whenever you're doing that. Like it feels like it stabilizes something more.
And go like these and grab like the entire serratus anterior fascia, and then use. I mean, generally, I would probably have
That's so
Hank.
cool.
I would have
Is
Hank
it
more like.
too much on both?
No,
both
I'm
of
not
us?
exerting too much pressure.
But just both of us push on his ribcage like that.
I'm not
Nah.
pushing. Do you want to try taking some deeper breaths in, Hank, and
Sure.
observe what
My
happens?
pressure too much?
This feels good.
Whoa, that was so cool.
Wait for it. Like on my side, it feels like the grain wants to go that way to stretch. All I gotta do is breathe. That's it.
I make a lot of my clients breathe.
Good.
It makes life easier.
I concur. Yeah, I presume you all know the technique pin and stretch?
Yeah.
I like that, but with the breath being the mechanism. Like when you breathe in, do you feel a stretch on both sides?
What do you do?
So I'm using the broad surface of my foot to target the lateral aspect of the serratus anterior, and then just.
Is it like this? Where's this start? Is it here or is it here?
More there. It's like it's more like this surface.
It is right there? Okay.
I might move it a little bit lateral, and then a little bit more that way, and then press in, and then that direction as he breathes in. And when he breathes in, do you feel that fiber or that tension change?
No, I should like.
Maybe take your socks off.
Yeah.
That might help with the palpation. The foot Have y'all ever palpated with your feet before?
I mean, and they're not in a body. Yes, actually, I have.
Nice. Cool. Yeah, and you can do like belly work with the feet too, but that's
insane.
advanced. That's advanced stuff. Cool. So my instinct for you is to kind of bring you into a sideline position, and we'll do some more kind of, maybe 10 more minutes of hip openers. So
Okay.
you're totally passive as the receiver.
Okay.
So bring the knee up. Give me this hand, and then you can just like literally just pull them over, and that's it.
Oh, that looks comfy.
Yeah, no, it's actually quite nice. How is that feeling?
It feels good.
Do you want the pillow to be doubled up underneath your neck?
This feels okay for now.
Okay. Yeah, so like this is a nice position for glute work. You can kind of, like as I push this way, his leg is supported by my foot, and you can kind of grab the glutes with like the hand, the elbow, or even the knee.
Ooh.
Indeed.
I'll do this.
Okay, great.
Am I too much on your issue? Do I need to go up more?
Yeah, I mean, like in there is just probably the meat of it all.
This is weird.
Yeah, it takes a little getting used to, it's true. How's that feeling, Hank?
Feels good.
And you can use this kind of like a lateral surface that tends to be a bit broader.
Like that? Is that broader?
A little bit.
Like how intense is that for you, Hank?
Like it's pretty mild, but it feels good though.
I just don't want a lot of pressure.
And you can stand and use your fist. I mean, yeah, you can get a lot of force that way. Yeah, part of why I wanted to show you this was more to show you, so you have really good access to like the adductors and the peroneals. And you can just do some, what I like to call therapeutic stepping, where you're just literally just stepping on somebody, but it feels kind of amazing. So I always like to have my heel be on the ground first, so it's nice and grounded, and then exert some pressure. So I might have you start here at least, more in this surface. And again, start with the heel on the ground. Maybe even just start with like standing on one foot and just make. What's that?
Okay.
Yeah, or just making sure you have control, basically, and then just having a nice broad surface, and then kind of pressing in, and then kind of repeating that, and kind of going down until about here. So. And just for some people, their knees are not stable, and you probably would not want to do this on them. So how's your knee feeling?
Oh, this feels great.
Great. And you can also use your knee in there as well.
Yeah, I feel no discomfort in my knees at all.
Great. I mean, usually it's kind of more on the relief side.
Yeah.
But it does depend.
Is that too close to your knee?
No, that feels fine.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Yeah,
there.
right there, yeah.
Just the closer to any joint you get. Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah, you could put quite a bit of weight there. It wouldn't hurt.
I don't usually use my foot on the calf.
What do you use?
My hands.
Oh.
I will definitely put my foot there though,
Ooh,
because it fits
That's
perfectly.
good.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, it feels great.
Nice.
And try like the ball of your foot, like the toe mounts.
Do you need more pressure?
Oh, that feels good.
And you can use your other foot like facing that direction too, which the ball, like the ball of your foot fits in there like perfect. It's funny how like different body parts just kind of fit together.
Mm-hmm.
I can feel that releasing my mid back. I think about reflexology a lot with the feet, and like I could kind of feel that closer to the heel on the arch. I could feel that in my lower back, and then like closer to my toes, I'm starting to feel it more in my upper back.
Yeah, I do urge caution around like the tarsals. The foot doesn't bend certain ways real good.
I like people when they bend my tarsals like that. I think it feels really good.
Chill.
Okay, what's next?
Do you want to try using your knee on this one?
Oh, yeah.
So I like to. You can do. Yeah, let's do it from that.
How's that?
That feels great. I can feel some circulation moving into like my semitendinosus. That stability on the hip feels good too.
You can also like have your hand on the peroneals on the opposite side.
Pressure?
Mm-hmm. And even when you release on that side, you can put pressure there, and then kind of go back and forth. There's the other direction of. Just let me know when you're done. So you can kind of do the same thing with the knee, but this direction. To get, it's like that's usually what I start with. You're just gonna be nice and broad. And do that. How's that pressure feeling?
That feels good.
Yeah, try that. Yeah, this one's really great for like the medial hamstring and like gracilis and such. pretty much just using your body weight to like do the work. It's pretty easy. Just lastly, you can kind of use the foot here too.
Ooh. Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
How much pressure does that feel like to you?
It doesn't feel like a lot.
Oh.
It feels, I mean, it doesn't feel like a place where a lot hurts.
I'm intentionally being as broad as possible.
Okay.
It's kind of nice, like meat and then drag, meat and drag.
Pressure meat drag.
Because it kind of like squishes all the tissues, and then it comes, drags with it.
On the drag part, I can feel something release in my hip flexor from just rocking my body this way. I can feel it on my left side a little bit, just releasing.
Yeah, I had this student up in Portland who loved the jostling aspect of Thai massage. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's like a
It's
whole
really
thing.
nice.
It
I do a
is.
lot of that in my practice.
Mm-hmm.
I do a lot of moving.
Yeah, because I mean, bodies like to move.
Yeah, it's like,
Do you want to stay where you are if you don't mind?
Oh.
Do you want to move him onto his back and then onto the other side and repeat that sequence? So I'll probably actually bring you back up as standing. So
What?
I guess I'll teach you. So what I think is pretty cool is that, like, where the femur goes, the rest of the body goes.
yeah.
You can just like push him down, and then he's there. So try that.
Okay.
Do you want to try that one more time?
No, I don't like lifting people's legs. I hurt my shoulder doing that once, and now it terrifies me.
Oh, well then, yeah. So like just a caveat is like if you can always ask the receiver to just like move for you if it's not comfortable to move the person.
Okay, how did you do the other side?
Yeah. So
Kinda
knee
lifting.
up, and then come to my side actually, and just keep your hand on that knee, and then grab his right hand. And I'll probably have you stand up, and then just pull him over. And then you want to release this, and then put your foot there, and then do glute work. Yeah, pretty easy, yeah? What do you say, like 5 more minutes of free flow and then call it good?
Yeah.
Just let me know if you want any structure. Can I offer a clincher?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe stand up, and then with all of your body weight, do the same thing. Does that feel easier or harder? What's that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Thai massage just taught me to be lazy
Mhm.
or efficient or smart, however you want to call it.
Broad.
That's what I usually start with. most people's inside calves are pretty sensitive, so I just would urge that caution.
Okay.
Mhm. In some traditional Thai, they have like a rope in the middle of the room for just like balance support, which is not a bad idea, but
Yeah, my friend Naki, she did a modality from Japan
Hmm.
that was a lot like Thai massage and with a lot of that, but with the rope hanging.
Uh-huh.
She did that for a while.
Ashiatsu or
Yeah, that.
foot.
But she also did have like some.
Same thing on. Oh, is your body doing okay?
Yeah. Why are we doing what I said?
Then just stepping on the perennials.
Oh.
Probably from from that. Oh, yeah, that too.
Perennial. What do you mean the?
Or the lateral. It changed names a while ago. I forget. So like stepping on
This side?
these ones.
That way.
Mhm.
That's a wonderful spot.
Uh-huh.
Is that pressure okay?
Mm-hmm.
You can use like the toe mounds, the blade of your foot, the ball of your foot. It's all good. Long day.
Yeah.
We do
Is
some
it this way?
other ways,
Oh,
like
this way. I was like, this doesn't feel right.
well, like I would probably use the toe mounds for the other direction you were just doing, but for
For like this?
mhm.
That makes more sense.
And then for the facing the other direction, the ball of the foot is great.
That makes sense.
And do that for as long as you want to, and then bring him back onto his back and do kind of a jostly closing sequence. And then
That's
from
closing.
yep.
What did you do for your closing move? I don't
Yeah,
remember.
you wanna I'll show you. Sadly to kind of bring the feet up, rest them on my knees,
Oh,
and then
yes,
do the
okay.
jostle. And I kind of like bring his weight kind of this way and then back as I'm jostling, because it kind of like, I guess I'm like my weight's on my heels right now and I'm leaning pretty far back, so this is like this is decompressing your spine, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of roll my weight forward, and then does other stuff, and just kind of go back and forth. And I'm like not exerting too much strength at all. But yeah, bracing your arms on your knees is very important. So I would even like bring your wrists closer to your knee, and that'll
Yeah.
give you a better no. Okay. And I did have my fingers kind of like this on either, so the ball of the foot was kind of here, like so, to be able to push them forward and pull them back.
I like my middle fingers better.
No worries.
Does it feel great?
Mm-hmm.
And in adaptations, you can do that with legs bent, and then kind of just translate directly through the knees as well. That might be, that looks like it might be starting to.
Yeah, it's a weird angle.
Yep, so the modification would be to maybe bring them one at a time. So bring them back to the ground. And then you can do like one at a time. And do something like that. How's that feel?
Mm-hmm. Okay, feels good.
Or maybe even this position, I would probably just like put your hand here as a fulcrum and just kind of like bring his leg that way.
Oh, like this.
Yeah. Use your mechanical advantage. You just kind of pick up different like skills for different body types. Like I do Thai because, like for me, because I'm me, and you'll develop your skills for you. All right. Well, thank you both so much. Yeah, we'll go through our little outro out there.
Alright. Thank you, Gabriel. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
Okay, how are y'all feeling post class?
I feel great. It felt very good, and it was a lot easier than I thought it would be.
What was easier, if you don't
The
mind me asking?
motions, the moving people's bodies around, or just the manual labor work.
Yeah. Did you find that you were able to, or that I was kind of trying to offer like using gravity versus like your muscular strength?
Yes, I
Thanks.
very much appreciate that.
Yeah. Nice. Cool. Awesome. How about you?
I feel a lot of tension release, and
Any place
I
in
feel-
particular?
especially in my hips and legs and feet. And
Were there any,
especially
like-
in my hamstrings, there was a lot earlier. Gosh, really just all around my legs. But
Were there
yeah.
any strokes that you are like or like was there anything that Andy or I did that you equate with like offering that release?
Yes, like when you, it's really hard to describe them. I tried my best to be like,
What are you doing?
but with the stepping release that you described, I think the both of your stepping release felt very similar and really helped pluck away at those tight strings of my legs. And then also with the jostling effect that came with some of those steps, I could feel like you'd be in one area stepping, but I'd feel it on the other side of my body, like my hip flexor started to unwind where you weren't even touching it directly.
Just having just done this class, are there any questions you would like to answer for people that might be curious to take this class that like, maybe weren't clear to you before taking it? Like communication of like pressure and like giving and receiving, or like drape like clothing. I mean, anything that comes to mind. Cool. It was all pretty straightforward and well explained, and questions were answered. And
Yeah.
well, great.
I had some questions earlier about certain leverage techniques that we use and size relation between bodies and how it might affect that, and I think that we discovered that came up a lot, and there's always a workaround with two bodies and size relation that changes how application might work.
You just got to keep playing with it and just find whatever works for you as a giver and a receiver. Like Andy, you have X amount of body weight to play with.
I know, it's a little.
Well, but what I'm trying to say is like there's ways to like work around that. Like you just use your feet and your knees more, and just like use gravity instead of like you, Hank, probably relied on your muscles more because you're just physically stronger. But like Thai massage is great because like in my experience, like the lazier you are, like the better it feels for the receiver,
Oh, cool.
and the less effort it is for you.
Yeah.
So just like get out of the way, just do the nice thing.
Nice. That makes sense.
Yeah, and it does take practice and time to kind of learn how to work with different body types. That's why it's nice to do this repeatedly over time. Cool. All right. Well, anything else before we wrap up? Great. All right. Thank you all so much for letting me teach you, and see you out there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel.